I think sometimes in the church, we think, or at least we give the impression that we think, that if your faith is strong, then you won't have to be sad. And ladies, if we haven't figured it out yet, we live in a world that is so broken. And those of us who are joined to Christ are not exempt from experiencing the brokenness of this world. And faith does not make loss hurt less. David and I kind of thought it would. When we were walking away from putting Hope's body in the ground, David said to me, "You know, I think we thought faith would make this hurt less, and it doesn't." Now, it kept us from despair. It filled us with hope and confidence and seeing her again and all that is to come. But it doesn't make loss hurt less. Somehow we think it should. And somehow we also think there should be a time limit on these tears. I remember a lady coming up to me in church who had recently been widowed, and she stopped me after church and she said, "I cry when I'm getting ready for work in the morning, and I cry all day at work, and I cry in the car on the way home, and then I get home and I cry. What's wrong with me?" And I just said to her, "Well, wasn't your husband worthy of a great sorrow? What would make us think that to lose someone of such great worth, someone that you love so deeply, that you wouldn't be sad that he's gone?" But while I'm saying to you, and I mean it, that it's going to take some time to be sad, I also want to encourage you with this word, another gem of wisdom from my husband, which is that we had also assumed that either you're very sad or you have joy. And what's amazing is how joy and sadness can coexist. I'm just wondering how many of you in this room would say, "That's exactly been my experience." And been amazed by it, that joy and sorrow could coexist. I remember people would come over to our house during Hope's life, and they would bring us a meal, and quite often I said to them, "Bring enough so you can stay and eat with us," because we had the richest conversations during that time, during her life, talking about things like, what's the purpose of prayer, and should we pray for a miracle, and what's the value of a life, and all of these things. It was a really rich time. And we'd take them to the door, and I'd close the door, and sometimes I just remember saying, "David, I bet they think we are so strange," because we laughed and we had joy. We discovered that joy and sorrow can coexist. And in fact, I actually think that a person who has had great sorrow has a larger capacity for joy. Almost as if the sorrow expands our capacity so that we can feel joy more deeply, more persistently.